Hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another edition of. I have no idea. Today, we're going to be talking about the difference between a shake and a smoothie. I feel like this is an important topic. I'm not quite sure why so many people don't know the difference, but that's why we're here today. So, let's talk about that here briefly. I'm just going to check to make sure we are in the right place, and then we're doing the live thing. Just give me a second. Okay, we are good to go. Okay, and I'm gonna pull comments up here. Okay, awesome. Hope you guys had a good weekend. We got Kate. What does that say? Kaylin. Hi, Kaylin. And Billy's in here. So I feel like it's important. Morning, Janice. It's important to talk about this because there are benefits to each. And then you might see like a shake in the meal plan or a smoothie in the meal plan, and we're not really sure why. Good morning, Jessica. So I want to explain the difference because there's different benefits to either one. And that's not working for me. So if you guys have questions, let me know. And I'll go over your questions today right now. And sorry, I just need to tell Nick, our assistant, to tag everyone. Morning, Mom. Okay, if you guys have questions, let me know in the comments and I'll answer them right now. But I'll go over this here briefly, but I don't want to rush. I just want to wish you guys a happy day. Hope you had a great weekend. It's a new start to the week. Something that I may go over today is getting started because September is here. September. Excuse me. Our September is here, and I know there's going to be a lot of people waiting to get started because September is going to roll around, but you quickly find out that it doesn't really matter. Like, it's not going to matter if it's September or January. It's pretty difficult to start when things are fresh and things are brand new. Jessica says, I wish September wasn't here. Right? And you know it, right? Like, spring, I feel like in Alberta or in Canada, wherever you may be spending, if it's cold, like at least when I'm spending more time here, when we get through a winter, it's like a relief. Like, yes, we made it through another winter. like it was challenging to get through, right? Well, I guess it was. Like, it's the cold, right? No one enjoys the cold. It's funny because we spent a lot of time. I traveled all over the U.S. In college and afterwards, 10 years afterwards, and then we still spend a lot of time in Los Angeles, and I have a lot of friends down there, and they'll say it'll be like a cooler day, or a lot of times people think LA is like tropical. It's not like Belize. I've never been to Belize, but it's not like tropical weather or hot weather all year long. Like in the colder months, you need a hoodie. You need a hoodie or a jacket. I wore toque, sweatpants. It's not like, I think a lot of times people think it's like t-shirt or bathing suit weather all year long. It's not. At any rate, when it's a bit cold, I get bundled up a little bit, and my friends always give me a hard time. They're like, "You're from Canada. You should be used to the cold." And I'm like, "You never get used to the cold." I mean, well, at least I don't. Morning, Deanne. So, at any rate, I think that September being here is not exciting for a lot of people. So you plan, like, for at least for me, I'm like, okay, I know like spring's coming. We made it through the winter. I know that summer's here and exciting, and it's gonna go by fast. So of course we're here in end of August, and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the summer is over, and now we're coming in. Morning, Candace. We're coming into fall. Candace is the owner of Cocoa Tree Cafe, and did I say that right? Cocoa Tree Bake Shop Cafe. You can put a link there if you want, Candace. We ran a campaign with her fat fueled latte with our C8 MCT oil, and it went absolutely fantastic. We had quite a few people posting, and so what we did is we said, if you go in there and you purchase one, you can put your name into a draw for 2 free bottles of MCT oil. Jane actually won that, and that was super fun. It's always nice to work with. Morning, Jamie, and good morning, Louise. Work with local businesses and do new and fun things. So we'll definitely do something like that here in the fall. Maybe something pumpkin-y. I don't want to talk about that yet. I feel like we still have some time. We still have a few weeks left of summer. But Cocoa Tree Bake Shop, yes. So at any rate, so I want to talk about shakes and smoothies because there's a clear difference, and I feel like a lot of times people, when we talk about them, people don't really have any idea. They're like, "What do you mean?" They use it interchangeably. They use the word, but a shake is very different than a smoothie. So let me tell you the difference, and then I'll tell you when to use them and why. So Jessica says spinach or kale in smoothies. Which do you prefer? See, that was a very good job, Jessica, of using. See, sometimes some people would have said kale or spinach in a shake, and I would have been like, that would be very difficult to do. So I would prefer spinach. Spinach would be my number one for sure. And good morning, Beth. Okay, so shake and smoothie. Here's the difference. When you have a shake, it's very simple. The name of it is very descriptive. So you put your milk in there. I don't care what milk. You can use cow's milk, plant milk, whatever you want. You have milk or let's not get into that. You have your milk or water. And then you put a scoop of protein in there and maybe some superfoods. We'll talk about that here shortly. And so you put that in your shake, in a shaker cup, and you shake it up. That's a shake, and that's it. Then when we move to, morning Maria, then we move to a smoothie. The difference between a shake and a smoothie is you have a blender, and you put your milk or water in there, and then you put banana, protein powder, fruit, if you like, spinach or kale, like Jessica was suggesting. You blend it up. That's your smoothie, right? Okay, so very clear difference, shake and smoothie. Let me know if you have any questions with that. I think that's pretty clear. So why is that important? Because you might see a shake, like for us with our clients, we have on their meal plan, here's a shake and here's a smoothie, and then we have different shake or smoothie options. But so let's see, for example, I personally would use a smoothie as more of a meal replacement. So I'll tell you the difference between a meal replacement and an isolate here shortly. So smoothie is, in my opinion, better for a meal replacement. Smoothie across the board is the easiest way to get all the macros in a tasty, convenient to carry, take, and go, jam-packed way to jam-pack your body with nutrients. No questions. Smoothies at the top of my list. And if you're someone like, I don't want smoothies, I don't like smoothies, I'm a texture person, whatever the reason is you don't want to drink smoothies, that's okay. But you should understand that you are shrinking your ability to have success when it comes to staying on track with your meal plan, because the convenience is bar none. If it's not a smoothie, then you're going to have to make a meal or bring a meal, prepare a meal, cook a meal, or you bring a smoothie, right? So I can talk more about that if you like. Look, and then if we look at the other side of the shake, for example, shake is more of a protein boost. And if you might be a bit confused why you have when I talk, I'll get into why you have a meal replacement instead of just a protein isolate. But for example, if you're having a shake, in most cases, it's just protein. And then you can add some superfoods in there if you like. To keep it as simple as possible, you could go protein, water, shake. That's it. So that's what I did in college. I wasn't really familiar with. I was trying to get protein in, wasn't familiar with superfoods, and I wanted to take my stuff and go, and water was cheaper than milk. You can get some nutrients from milk without question, and it tastes better. It's a bit creamier. It tastes better. I would go with milk if you can afford it and don't have any allergies or aversions. Morning, Crystal. To milk, and I don't really care. Like, you guys can. We usually choose. Well, we're a bit spoiled. I shouldn't say spoiled. We Sure, let's just say we're spoiled. We have this machine that's called an almond cow. And if you haven't heard of them, you should really check them out because they're amazing. So what we used to do is make our own milk in a blender. It's very simple. You put in, let's say for example, you soak almonds, and then you put water. You soak almonds overnight. You put water in your blender. You put the soaked almonds in there and you blend it up. Then you pour that in a cheesecloth and you have your own homemade milk. Not that that was entirely inconvenient. I also did the same thing with coconut flakes. Not that that was entirely inconvenient, but most things in life that we work towards, or well, maybe not everyone, but it's really convenience, right? Like the things that we buy more for is convenient. Like Starbucks model or McDonald's model is like convenient. It's convenience because it's always there. Like Starbucks in most cases won't buy I don't know if they buy. I think they may even buy their property. Or McDonald's, one of them, they buy their property. In most cases, restaurants rent. But I feel like I'm going off on a bit of a tangent. But it's convenience, right? Like Starbucks is almost exclusively buys on corners. They don't buy in the middle of them. Mini mart. I think might see them more in malls now. At any rate, they started their business on location only. Same thing with McDonald's. It's convenient. So enter almond cow. And so the almond cow is all you do is you have this machine. You have this machine and you put your milk in there, or your nuts and seeds. So it could be hemp seeds, cashews, almonds, coconut flakes, whatever it is. You put that in the container. You add water and you push a button. And then you take it out. The container of all the seeds the extract is there. We actually throw that in a smoothie. That's why it's very different. The two are very different between a shake and a smoothie. Take that out and then we put that aside. You can also dehydrate those and make crackers. But at any rate, so then you have your almond milk. Very simple to make homemade with this machine. So that's another option for you if that's something that you want to do. But I guess what I was saying with the shake is, so okay, let me tell you the difference between a meal replacement and an isolate. So a meal replacement is, so the protein in particular, so if you look at Complete Truth Protein, that's our black and white bag. That's our very first product ever. That's quinoa and hemp seeds, both superfoods, both fantastic in many different ways. They have healthy fats, complex carbs, complete proteins. So you have the meal replacement protein supplement, right? And that can make it as simple as possible. So you put a scoop of that in there, put your milk or water in there, whatever your liquid is, and then you can add berries to make it taste better. You could put spinach in there for an extra boost of nutrients. But that's really if you have a scoop of CTP or another company's meal replacement product, you would put that in your smoothie and you're done, right? If you want to make it on your own, you would have to put a little bit more effort into it to get the 4 macros. So we teach 4 macros. That's where we've seen the most success. A lot of you guys have seen our success from our MAP program. That's counting calories for our clients. That's 4 macros. That we count those calories for them, put them in a fat burning stage, and we design a meal plan around that. It's a ton of work. I wouldn't suggest doing it on your own, but you can try. Like if you want to dabble, if you want to try to figure that stuff out, it took us years to figure out. So what we say is we save you time in years of you trying to figure that out on your own to have us do it for you. But if you want to go ahead and dabble and figure all that out, by all means, you should probably get started right away. So with the smoothie in particular, if you don't have a meal replacement powder, you want to have a complex carb. So it could be a rolled oats, for example. We have a nice gluten-free rolled oat that we choose. And then you would put fat in there for your second macro. And then we would choose C8 MCT oil. Or if you want to throw avocado in there, hemp seed in there, you want to throw a fat in there. So you have your rolled oats, you have your MCT oil, so complex carb, healthy fat, and then you have a protein. So you probably want to put, you're probably going to want to put a protein isolate in there. If not, you're going to have to combine. It's a bit more challenging. You're going to have to combine different products. So for example, hemp seeds is a complete protein. That's why we use quinoa instead of oats, complete protein. So you can bump up your protein intake, but again, it's pretty challenging without a protein powder. So that's your protein. And then you can look at your antioxidants. So that's an easy one of spinach that we talked about. So those are your 4 macros that you would throw in a smoothie for a meal replacement. And why do you want a meal replacement? Like I was saying, because we teach the 4 macros and you should have that in every meal. So that's where you're going to see the most results. And that will help with cravings. That's a big one for a lot of women in particular. They say, well, I'm always craving in the evening. That's because you don't have enough of the 4 macros. That's it, across the board. I can't tell you how many of our clients every one of our clients that crave in the evenings are saying, wow, I can't believe, like, if they're following their meal plan, getting all their macros in and all their meals, don't crave in the evening because they have all the calories their body needs. You are craving in the evening, one, out of habit. You're bored flipping through your news feed. It's out of habit. You just wander to the pantry. And then the other one is, in most cases, it's lack of nutrients that your body didn't get earlier in the day. So you're trying to, late in the day, it's even worse because you're sedentary, you're not moving around, your digestion isn't great because you eat a big meal and sit there for the rest of the evening. So going for a walk in the evening was definitely helpful. Making sure you're getting your calories earlier in the day and not stacking up too much of that meals later in the day. So we see it across, like, so often with women in particular, like light breakfast, if breakfast at all, late lunch. And so you're having a lunch at 2 or 3, and then you're trying to get dinner in at 5 or 6. And then in the evening, like, what do? The kids are in bed or they're off playing with their friends, whatever they're doing, you're sitting around not doing much. And earlier in the day, you didn't have the calories your body needs. So you're trying to stuff them in later in the day. And then you finally start wandering around and looking for sugary processed types of treats that isn't beneficial to anyone. How's that? How are we doing out there? Is that hitting home for anyone? You can even consider using a smoothie in the evening to help curb those cravings. But again, if you're having your nutrients earlier in the day, those cravings are going to start to go away, and you're not even going to think about it. That's probably the biggest issue that we see with like I said, with women in particular. They're caregivers, right? So they are taking care of everyone else but themselves. They got the spouse taken care of, they got the kids taken care of, and then they push themselves back, and then when everyone else is taken care of, it's the end of the day, and you have this small window to get your food in. So we see our clients try to eat all they have to eat all their calories that we set out for them. So they're trying to eat all their calories late in the day, and we have to explain to them that's not going to be beneficial for you long term. You got to push those calories to the front and make sure you're getting a nice variety of calories earlier in the day. Okay, so that is your smoothie, and that's your meal replacement. And I went over your shake. Shake again is pretty simple. So you have your milk or water, and then you have your protein supplement. You shake that and you're done. You could add in, like, sometimes I add turmeric in there. So I would consider turmeric a superfood. You can or not, but that's a turmeric powder. You could use ginger, could be something that you're gonna throw in there. I like those because of the joint immune system, joint health. There's a lot of different benefits to ginger and turmeric. I like to use them often. I also put MCT oil in my shakes. So MCT oil goes in there with a scoop of protein and milk, and I shake that up. And that's consistent. I do that every time. Sometimes I add the other superfoods in there, and there's tons of superfoods. We have maca. That's one of our products that we sell. You could throw maca in there. That's another fantastic superfood, and it's adaptogen. It's great for energy, great for hormone regulation. So that's a really good option for you to take your smoothie game to the next level. Shake. So why are you taking a shake? So in many cases, it's really difficult. So this would be a different conversation, but we have to understand that we need all the 4 macros, and they all have benefits. So, and everyone's obsessed with one of them. Like, everyone's like, oh, I got to stay away from fats, like terrible fear of fats. Or you see those people that won't eat any carbs. No, not eating any carbs. In my opinion, you need carbs, at least at this point in my life and research and experience. you need carbs, you need fats, and you need proteins as well. But then you see people like on those high protein, high fat diets, and they don't have any vegetables. So then they run into digestion issues because that fiber helps your food digest. right? It's like it's like a no-brainer. But we don't want to eat vegetables. We don't want to cook broccoli. Like, and if you're counting calories, like a cup of broccoli is like 30 calories or whatever it is. I don't know exactly what it is, but it's a very small amount, so it's not going to adjust. When I was in the weight gaining stage, this was in college, I was trying to gain weight, I was trying to gain muscle mass. I would skip the veggies myself, so I know exactly where those people are at, because it didn't give me calories. I was trying to get over 3,000 calories, as many calories as I could get. Clean ones. Morning, Kim. I was trying to get clean calories in, and the veggies gave me almost no calories. So I was like, what's the point of that? They don't taste great anyways. That was early on. Then I started to do more research and understand how the body functions, how digestion works, and why you need those vegetables. And now most of our plate is veggies. We live a highly plant-based lifestyle and diet. So that's super important. And then even when we work with our clients and they have a higher protein intake, like 6 grams or 6 ounces of chicken breast, for example, or balancing your macros with more protein, with more protein, whether that is fish, shrimp, steak, whatever it is, you still need a good portion of veggies on your plate because you need them. Like they're antioxidants. They fight free radicals. Free radicals make your skin wrinkly and saggy. They make your body less resistant to. They put your body in more of a alkaline state. They're more which makes you more resistant to like a stronger immune system, for example. At any rate, we need to have antioxidants going to our body, and I feel like that's a big misunderstanding for people that don't eat vegetables on a regular basis. Deanne says, for the shake, if I'm adding ice, would you cut back on the milk? Okay, so first of all, I wouldn't add ice. So Deanne's in her MAP program, and she's doing absolutely amazing. I would love to share your results, but I'm not going to because I know you want to keep those to yourself. But your questions are always fantastic. So the reason I wouldn't add ice, and don't get me wrong, sometimes like we have a coffee keto smoothie with ice in it, and it tastes fantastic. We also have a s'more smoothie, right? But those aren't things that we'd recommend on a daily basis. Like that could be a treat, or it could be a summertime thing. When it comes to cold foods or like cold liquids in particular, that really messes with your digestive system. So think, for example, like I don't know exactly what it is. Like I heard your mouth is like 98 degrees. Maybe I just made that number up. Your mouth, like inside your mouth is warm. It's hot. And then that's why when you put like ice cream in there, it melts instantly. So think about, in most cases, we're putting warm food into our digestive system, which is great, but everything is like warm inside our body, and then you go and put something cold in there with ice. So, and then on top of that, so we have a meal and with ice water, right? And it's probably, there's a bunch of things you could do to make your digestion worse, but drinking ice cold water with your hot food is one of the worst things that you could do. Also, not chewing your food and swallowing your food whole and not helping your body digest it. That we'll talk about I can talk about mindful eating in a different one, but to put this into context, we were in Sri Lanka and it was like 400 degrees outside. We were sweating from places we didn't know we could sweat from. And it was like that the whole time. And the food is amazing. I'm a huge fan of different types of foods, but spicy foods and curries in particular, I love those types of foods. And then we're in Sri Lanka and we're eating, it's scorching hot. We're eating at like an outside restaurant, right, in the middle of a village. Like we didn't really go to. We went with people that were actually from there, lived there, and we were like in the middle of a village, and it was like, it's kind of funny because it's a bit different than North America. Like they had picnic tables basically in this restaurant, and it was almost buffet style. You kind of go and told them what you want, and you sat at a table. So I sat at a table, and I started eating my food, and some guy sits down like right next to me. And in Sri Lanka, like they have no like spatial awareness. We were riding this train, and like people were like leaning up against me, and like it was really odd experience. But that's their culture, right? So anyways, this guy sits like right next to me. He's like touching my leg, and I'm like So, excuse me. So, at any rate, they bring out hot glasses of water, like warm glasses of water, not hot. They bring out warm glasses of water, and I'm like, it is scorching hot out here. This food is burning my mouth, and I'm washing it down with warm water. But that they know, like that's Ayurvedic medicine. They've known for generations, probably thousands of years, that you don't drink. Also, ice is probably hard to come by around there, but they particularly made the water warm. It wasn't like tap water. So at any rate, that is to help with digestion. So that was a long-winded answer for you, Deanne. I would I would recommend not shaking up your smoothie with sorry, I lost my train of thought here. I'm just reading Dana's comment here. She says, yes, all the restaurants serve ice water. I always ask for no ice. Yeah, and that's great, Dana. And to take that a step further, I always ask for hot lemon water. I ask for hot lemon. I ask for hot lemon water in a mug, in a coffee cup, and that kind of, because I don't want to drink tap water. We don't drink tap water, and I don't want bottled water, especially the bubbly stuff. I don't like that, and I don't think most bottled water is even much better than tap water. We boil our water at home, so that's what I do. I don't know if that'll help you guys out, but that's a great idea, because often they'll bring you a glass of ice water, not even thinking about it, because that's what most people do, and that's not great for digestion. So if you really want to add ice to your milk, then you can add less milk, right? It's not really going to make a big difference. All it is going to either increase or decrease how thick it is, or for how many people that serving is, right? Deanne says, great info, thanks. You're welcome. Yeah, it's a really good question, and something I didn't think about. I didn't realize that people would, like, you put ice, like milk, ice, protein, and shake it up. I didn't realize that people did that, so thanks for sharing. It's worth repeating in the future. There's something else. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention is, like, Deanne had a really good comment in the past about protein powders in particular. And here's the thing, is that a lot of times, like with supplements in general, people don't realize that not all supplements are created equally. Like a lot of times, this actually had happened. One of our clients was ordering our protein on a regular basis. They ran out, and they're like, instead of getting it shipped, I'm going to go to the store and grab a different one. So they grabbed a different one, and it was the conventional, low quality, chalky, chemical aftertaste, and they didn't feel great after they're taking it. And they're like, I didn't know. Your protein was the first that I was taking, and I didn't realize that other ones weren't as good. They didn't taste as good, or they didn't react the same in my body. So that's the thing, is like a lot of times people say, I'm not going to drink a smoothie, because they have that experience. And I actually went to a shop here locally, and they made me a smoothie, and it was like it was like the first time they made a smoothie. It was like the food, like the fruit wasn't all blended. It came like chunky, and they were missing some ingredients. Like, that was a terrible experience. And if I didn't know how to make my own smoothies for years, I would have thought smoothies like aren't for me. So I feel like that's important, to have an open mind and understand, like, whatever it is new you're trying, you have to try it a few times. Well, probably more than a few times, to realize if it's a good idea for you to have that or enjoy that. And when it comes to protein powder in particular, it's super important. Like, our vanilla protein is, it's all the ingredients are sprouted, fermented, and organic. Like, we have the top of the line nutrients, and we have plant-based probiotics in there to help with digestion. So ours doesn't bloat you, and it doesn't taste like chalk, because it's not made from chemicals. It's made from food, and we don't have any artificial sweeteners in there like sucralose, or I always get those ones mixed up. Is it aspartame, or is aspartame sucralose? At any rate, you should stay away from both of those. Like the sweet and lows, that stuff is nonsense. At any rate, I'm going to leave you with that. Hopefully that gives you a better idea of the difference in importance. So if you're, maybe I should end with this. If you're just taking a shake, like just a protein shake isolate that I'm talking about, and that's something I didn't mention yet, I suppose, is that our vanilla protein, for example, in most cases, the protein that you're buying is an isolate. So if you want to turn that into a meal replacement, you have to add the other macros that I talked about earlier. So that's important to mention. Some people only take a shake and they're like, oh, I got my shake and I'm good. And then they're hungry 20 minutes later, right? That's not a meal. That's just protein, and protein doesn't fill you up. Protein doesn't even give you energy, by the way. That's a myth. So when it comes to your protein shake, all you're getting is your shake in, or all you're getting is your protein in. And the best time to take that is either first thing when you get up or right after a workout. So those are the best times to take your shake. But don't, like Deanne, those of you that are in our MAP program, don't worry about that. Like, we have you set up on a calorie count for a specific reason. We can level up in the future and adjust when to take those, but for now, all you have to do is make sure you get your calories in, and we set that all out for you. There's no thinking. Just get your calories in. Don't worry about the rest. As we improve and get better, and see more results, then we can dive a bit deeper and work on those small details. Because the more fit you get, the more we'll tweak so you can get fitter and see more results. But right now, for most of our audience, is just starting out in nutrition and fitness, and there's a long way to go before we get to those stages. Deanne, you're quite a bit closer, so you're not really far off on that kind of stuff, but we can get into that in another conversation. Thank you all so much for joining live. If you're watching the replay, I appreciate that as well. I'm out of here. We'll talk to you soon. Any questions about either of those, send us a message. If you want to grab vanilla protein, or if you want to grab a meal, which is an isolate, or if you want to grab CTP or meal replacement on our website, trueformlife.com/shop. If not, we're all here for support regardless. Great info. Thank you. You're welcome. Have a great day, everyone, and we will catch you soon.